on this show, we reported when Speed Darlington had made a video, and in the Instagram live, it was actually an Instagram live. In Instagram live, he was talking about how he can never do certain kind of jobs because, you know, jobs like being a waiter or working in a hotel, those jobs are sort of implying that they're beneath him. That imagine how despicable it would be for you to be a hotel attendant, changing sheets, and that the last time that he remembered, I think it was in the hotel where he had been sort of intimate with a 15-year-old girl. And he didn't actually say he was intimate, he just said he was with a 15-year-old girl, and then her blood had stained the sheets. And imagine a grown man having to change that kind of sheets, and that, of course, caused public outrage, with people saying he's encouraging abuse of young girls, because how do you, as a public figure, come out to admit that you've been with a 15-year-old girl, you know? And that's, I believe this is the video. Let's take a look at it. So we're walking you down memory lane.
With my lawyer. Now, because say we are in southern Nigeria, would you come at me like this if we were in Sokoto? No, you would never disrespect me like this. Mr. Advocate VDM, go north now. Go north, we're 70-year-old, they marry 11 years old. Mr. Activism, go north. No. Chebi, you carry him for head.
So this video was his reaction to the public outrage that his Instagram live had caused, because VDM, everybody was literally on his neck. People were asking that he be arrested, he be brought in for investigation, and we also criticized that statement live here on television. Interestingly, NAPTIP has declared him wanted. He's escaped the country. The National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, they have declared him a wanted man. And you can see the flyer here. It says the public is hereby notified that the individual whose photograph appears above is wanted by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, in connection with alleged offenses of rape, cyberbullying, and cyberstalking. And then that's the call center. They say, if you find him, please call the number.
Yeah, but I believe there's an NAPTIP desk at all exit points in Nigeria, especially international airport. So I wonder.
So the question is, first of all, how did he leave the airport?
But where is he now?
He's in America. He's gone back. He said he's a U.S. citizen.
He said he's not coming back.
He said he's gone back. In fact, he said that they should pay him appearance fee. NAPTIP wants to see him is 2.5 million for appearance fee.
Is it dollars or naira?
Maybe naira. Then they buy him return ticket for him and his PA to come to Nigeria and answer to NAPTIP. So, first of all, how did he leave the country? But he's also arguing that they have no evidence, that all he did was just to trend.
He said it was.
He said, all I said was just to trend.
Chasing.
You know, and that they did not want to arrest him. That was their evidence. Do they have proof that he actually did it?
I mean, he's just making things complicated for himself. He knows. I mean, if he thinks he didn't do anything wrong, he should have just honored the invitation, and it's simple. They are not, if you don't have evidence, if anyone has not come forward to petition or make complaints, I mean, NAPTIP can hold you or charge you to court on basis of
suspicion,
of assumption and suspicion.
So honestly, I was trying to think. I don't know what crime, what he said will fall under, right? I'm not quite sure. However, I hope that this serves as a lesson to people who look up to certain public figures that just talk. Speed Darlington is known to have a very loose mouth. He says a lot of things, very unhinged. For those who look up to him as role models, I'm hoping that this is
I don't think anyone that looks up. I mean,
he has a fan, so he's the president of the Akpi clan, or whatever they call themselves. He has his fans. But I'm hoping that people recognize, especially public figures, that there's a lot of responsibility that is put on you. Nobody is forcing you to be a role model, but by officially becoming a public figure, there are certain things that are expected of you. It's one thing for you to, I mean, nobody is going to interfere with who he decides to be intimate with. It's his life. He's an adult. All they're saying is, do not let it be an underage woman. If you have an underage girl, because I can't call that one a woman, according to the law, if you sleep with a girl who's younger than 18, even if she tells you it's okay, I want it, you have raped her, according to our law. Because a girl under the age of 18 cannot give consent. So you can't come out to admit that you slept with a 15-year-old girl and expect that would slide. Now, the other angle is, I'm glad that NAPTIP has stepped up, but it will be very interesting. While I'm not a fan of Speed Darlington in any way, it's very interesting to see that NAPTIP has stepped now. And again, he raised a very valid point. There are lots of young girls who will be married, you know, child marriages. You wonder what happens, and if NAPTIP, if their scope or their jurisdiction does not apply to the
Very good. I think you've anyway. Let's watch Speed Darlington's response first to an NAPTIP, and then we'll come back and highlight some of the key points, especially the one Olive just mentioned. Take a look.
This video is for NAPTIP, NAPTIP. All this wanted poster where on plaster everywhere. You need to take that shit down. I'm not coming. You hear me? I'm not coming. I have not committed any crime. All I did was speak. Irresponsible talk is not a crime. I'm not coming. Okay? Where is your evidence? Who is the complainant? Eh? When I want to collect social media clout. Hey, look at us. We are doing our job. We summoned a celebrity and he came. I was born here too. I know the psychological mind game when I want to play. 2.5 million is what I charge for appearance. When I will pay me 2.5 million plus round trip ticket for me and my PA to come because I call that appearance. You feel me? Because I know you guys have no evidence. There's no crime. All he was trying to trend. You have no evidence. You have nothing. So me coming here my time. You guys are just reacting to a bunch of people on social media hating on Speed Darlington, tagging you. Look, we find something. Look. Go after him. So now you want to react and show Nigeria say you are a good agency. Look.
What?
Well, it's times like this that I'm very happy and glad that Habib Ogikiola gave him big blow on his eye a few weeks ago. He deserves that beating.
Say no to violence.
He really deserves it.
Anyway, whether we like it or not, let me play the devil's advocate in this on this now. If I were his lawyer, I would rightly say that he's right with some of the points he made in that video. Fact. One.
I mean, sentiments apart. Yeah.
Yes, sentiments apart. Let's look at it holistically. Nigerians were triggered by the statements he made. Whether we like it or not, we're not supporting the statement he made. It's horrible. It shouldn't be said. It shouldn't be mentioned. However, he also put out a video and said he was just chasing clout. We do understand that Nigerians have called on NAPTIP and the other bodies to ensure that they intervene. Now, how did they intervene is also very important. One, there's a difference between inviting and saying, oh, we saw this on social media.
They probably already did.
They did, yes,
did.
Yes, they gave him a second date.
Invite him. You did that, he didn't show up, and so on and so forth. Now, where I have a challenge is, you put out a wanted. He's wanted. Is he a criminal?
So,
for not honoring the invitation, even when the Senate summons service chiefs or heads of states to appear before the Senate, the Senate threatens with a bench warrant. They say, okay, they will declare you wanted.
That's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been declared wanted now. He's done another video, and remember that he did a video prior to this video stating that he was just chasing clout. Whether we like it or not, we all agree that chasing clout process is horrible, it's bad. I would stand on the fact that, yes, you should be invited for playing with such sentiments. Because whether you like it or not, we live in a fragile society whereby you have followers. Okay, you have followers, and people are watching you. Whatever you say dictates what they think and how they want to act. So that's very key. But on the aspect of allowing him to escape, let me use the word escape, or I wouldn't say elope because he didn't take anyone along with him, but then again, let's just say for him to have left the country, and you just highlighted one very key point. He passed the security checkpoints, and then he actually got to where he's got to, which is the United States, and then he was able to do a video and send back to Nigerians on the same social media space. I think I have a problem with that. And why I have a problem with that is because I feel that is NAPTIP starting to look like what we see with the EFCC, where, you know, they are very critical cases, and then you turn a blind eye to those critical cases where you chase after, in quotes, I want to agree with the word clout, because for me it's clout chasing. So, as regards you doing the right thing.
Chasing, but there's you
doing your job.
overtly, no, admitting to have committed a crime. What he said in the video was the inference or the deduction from what he said is that he slept with a 15-year-old girl. NAPTIP has done what they ought to do to invite him for questioning and interrogation. Is there evidence yet? No, the only evidence we have is what he said. So when they invite him, he would then say, oh, sorry, I did not mean it to. It was a joke, even though many people don't believe it was actually a joke that he was being honest. But then again,
let's also be careful what he did.
Well, it is based on what he said, right?
Okay.
So they will then invite him, and then he should have shown up to clear his name. His lawyer should have advised him to show up, because now he's a wanted man in Nigeria. In other countries, when you joke about certain things like this, what that does for your brand, it does irreparable damage for your brand. Brands wouldn't sign you up. Absolutely. I don't know if any brands have signed him up yet. Brands wouldn't sign you up. No. Brands will cancel their ambassadorship if they have such deals and engagements. You will not be called to shows. They will literally blacklist you, because they will say that you have overtly, stood against something that the whole society frowns upon. So he may also bring up the argument of northern Nigeria, and I understand that, right? I mean, I did say earlier that it's not applicable to all parts of northern Nigeria. It's just unfortunate that where we are in our country, there's still a debate as to what is a crime when it comes to underage marriage in northern Nigeria. The Child Rights Act has determined what an adult is.
Have a problem.
The 18-year-old child. However, in northern Nigeria, some of the states, some of them don't, they have their penal code. There's an intersection between the laws of the land, the culture, and their tradition. So it's a bit sensitive. I think until we settle
like Olive
collectively.
Always says, two things can be right at the same time. You could go after those people that are engaging in underage marriage. You can advise them. You could sensitize the people, and at the same time, you could also invite Speed Darlington for questioning and also advising him on better conduct. I don't think NAPTIP had any plans of locking him up in jail. They just wanted to know the rationale and clear the air of that, and a simple invitation that he didn't honor has come to. So we can say legally, for now, until somebody steps forward to claim that he did this or that to me, Speed Darlington has no case to answer. But morally,
yes, morally,
yes,
he is completely wrong.
So I rest my case. Good work to NAPTIP for putting all the AKAs there on the wanted poster. Good
work.
King.
Good work, no doubt, but we want to see more. Let me just say this, just to clarify my statement again. If I'm going to list the organizations that have put in more effort and do not rely on social media as a yardstick to be able to carry out their duties, I'm going to give it to the body that is busy every Sunday, giving us Sunday tonic, fighting trafficking. They've been so consistent. Trust me. They don't say a word. They hush. Once it's Sunday, they release the job, the work they've done. They say, take a look, Nigeria.
Maybe the reason why we're
so on and
focusing on NAPTIP, and I don't think they're chasing clout. It's a matter of public interest. You can't expect Speed Darlington to make such a statement. It's under their purview and not expect a reaction from them.
I mean, under the body of NAPTIP, their responsibility or their scope of work covers rescuing abducted children or kidnapped children, children who are being used for certain things. But I also know that even children involved in underage intimacy, which are laws referred to as rape, right? So, anyway.
No doubt. But then again, for me, bottom line is let's do our job if we need to be professionally. How he was able to move away freely before you put out the wanted, it's another story. It's a
matter of sexual exploitation, so that this would have been a teachable moment. I think that's a teachable moment for those in the public, like everybody. Be careful. Everything is not for trend. Everything is not for trend.
Catch cruise.
We see the ones
or clicks.
For likes, everything isn't to trend. Anyway,
let's go to our next story now. Let's talk about what took place yesterday. But before then, let's also highlight when we see, like we always say, when you see a good story, you also speak about good story. We see good job being done. You also highlight what is being done. Well, President Tinubu has decided to decentralize PPP projects projects under 20 billion. Now, what does this mean? Well, just yesterday the news broke that if there are any private-public, businesses that would take place between the federal government and, of course, the public sector, back then we used to know it to be very, very difficult. If there was any private organization that would want to partner with the federal government to carry out any form of developmental project, it was very tough. So PPP projects valued below 10 billion naira for parastatals and 20 billion naira for ministries can now be approved internally by project approval boards, which is known as PABs. Then they subject it to the ICRC guidelines and certification. And what it simply means is, let me just break down the entire story. Bottom line, Nigerians. Now we're going to see more PPP projects because the president has indeed signed and approved that going forward, if the federal government wants to be involved in the private sector to carry out a PPP, they no longer need to go through a long list of bureaucracy. They've cut the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It's gone. And what it means is if the project is between 10 billion naira and 20 billion naira, it just has to get a certificate of approval from the IC, and of course the PABs, which happens to be the board, they also have to equally approve it, and then it is indeed executed. But if it is more than 20 billion, it has to get approval when when the governors and then they all meet in the NEC or their meetings, and then of course they look into it, and then approval can also be given. But the story about this is, I think the president has done something very nice, whereby the bureaucracy has been cut short.
Well, great initiative by Mr. President, cutting the red tape and efficiency in government. This is what we call smart governance. Things don't have to go the whole 100 yards before you see the results. And hopefully this will encourage a lot of states and it will fast track development.
Absolutely. I mean,
the country.
It's very important. We can't talk about the role of development, transformation, and nation without talking about the tools of infrastructure. I think it was 2 weeks ago that the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, they held the Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit. And what they did was they got governors from different parts. I mean, the who is who in Nigeria showed up for that event. They brought governors, they got ministers, and all the conversation was centered on collaboration, public-private partnership. And you could see the drive, the hunger and the desire, the enthusiasm. In fact, at some point, one of the panel sessions I found very interesting, the governor of, I can't remember, and I can't remember who the other governor was. They were complete arguing about who has the deepest seaport, and you could see everybody was laughing. But that's the kind of competition we want to see, healthy competition. And I must really give kudos to the DG of ICRC, Dr. He's just been there for 11 months, and they've made so much progress. And even when they were laying the blueprint for what is to be expected, it was very exciting. We're hoping to have him here on Breakfast Central to share with us what the progress rate has been so far, what the expectations are in the coming years. And
sometimes you really don't need to build things. It's in the laws. It's just rejigging, moving this away from this, from the exclusive list to the concurrent, and things like that. And you see things come into fruition. These are low-hanging fruits. So, like they say, kudos to the government for this initiative. But then, yes, there's a huge question mark on the big elephant in the room, corruption. If you believe that's oversight.
That's it. That's what they're hoping to do. So that's what this would do. Would ensure that everyone who's a part of this partnership holds up their own end of the divide. The government holds up their own end. The private individuals hold the end of the divide. Nobody is, reneging on their own agreement. I remember I was the governor of Cross River State that was having. Yes. No, that one's Umo.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So Prince Basio was having the argument with Governor.
I mean, first of all, we must say here on Breakfast Central that our job is to ensure that if the stories are making the rounds and it's positive, we'll celebrate. If it's negative, we'll also talk about it. I think this is a very good initiative. Good move by the current administration. Fantastic. But Gbenga highlighted what my fear was as well when I read through yesterday. I mean, we've said projects above 20 billion naira. FEC would have to sit down, the MDAs involved, look at it before giving approval. But we've also seen here that this is to curb, that's bureaucracy one, to curb corruption two. We're going to see more hospitals we're going to see more schools. We're going to see more dormitories. We're going to see a lot of structures now going up, emerging. I had said something here during our paper review, I think some months ago. I had said that I can only imagine if the richest men in Nigeria got involved in building hospitals. And I think one of our guests, Wadi, was telling me, nah, that's not possible, die that. This is it. So when I saw this, I laughed. I said, this is what I was talking about.
Because the truth is, you can expect so much from the government. The government can't do everything.
I mean, I'm going to pick one person, Dangote. He's been involved fully with, we've seen what he's done with, you know, PMS, gas, and so on, launching in the trucks. Now, if you go to somebody like an Elumelu, who now decides to say, okay, fine, oh, there's a PPP.
I mean, we've seen Dangote PPPs with the Lekki Airport.
Exactly. Now, I'm spreading it around all the richest men, the wealthy men. Now, I'm just picking one of them who, if an Elumelu now says, okay, fine, let's solve this hospital issue through this process. Let's work with the NDAs and let's see how much is needed. As long as the cost of not 20 billion and it's something he could raise, maybe say 19 billion. Now, this gives access. This makes it easier for these developments.
And I'm sure they also get some tax breaks.
Of course.
For philanthropy projects and
I think what we'll do on the show to help us get a clearer picture of what this looks like is to invite the DG of ICRC, Dr. Jobson Awalefo, and his team to come on the show and speak to us about what the current administration is doing to alleviate, or to, maybe alleviate is not the word, but to ensure that there is an improvement of infrastructure and that public-private partnership thrives in Nigeria. But let's now move to our final story, politics in Nigeria. Do you want to take that, Gbenga?
Yes. Why are you making me? I'm a gentleman. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Why are you making me take this violence?
Fighter. That's why I moved this story.
Yes. Yesterday, all eyes were on Wadata Plaza, as observers held their breath to see if this NEC or this expanded caucus meeting was going to hold. But lo and behold, police besieged the PDP secretariat as the Board of Trustees had to relocate their NEC meeting. But let's give you visuals. And then they say a picture paints 1,000 words, but videos paint 1 billion words. Let's watch and then we'll come back for analysis.
Okay, so much has happened there.
There's a lot of videos, though.
So many
that
videos.
We do have. That's not the only video we have. We have the video showing from outside. Our reporter was there, and he covered. Imara was there live, and I'm sure we do have those footages. We should have them. Where the police officers were, videoed outside, doing all they can, pulling everyone, telling them to leave, ensuring that the place was shut, and so on and so forth. So I just want to highlight that. It's way beyond the fracas you could see inside, internally, while they were inside. There's a lot also going on outside. Right? The police vehicles were parked, they blocked, and the policemen were much. It was as if there was going to be...
They anticipated
exactly. It was like... It was
they anticipated it.
But what's the cause of the ruckus?
The cause of the ruckus, of course, would be the fact that the PDP NEC meeting was scheduled to hold on the 30th. PDP had written a letter to INEC, informing INEC that their NEC meeting was meant to hold on the 30th of June. Unfortunately, this letter was only signed by the party's national chairman and wasn't co-signed mandatorily by the party's national secretary, which then highlighted the issue of who is PDP's national secretary. Could it be Samuel Anyanwu or Ude Okoye, Samuel Anyanwu, who has the backing of influential figures like the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, or Ude Okoye, who has the backing of the other members of the G5, including Sheyi Makinde, Itamba, and a number of other people. So it would seem that they were also, they had said that the meeting wasn't going to hold. There were members of the party who had said INEC had no business interfering with the internal activities of the party. The Amalgam rejected it, stating that, you know, I mean, there was a person, I'm trying to remember his name now, who rejected this, and he said that Samuel Anyanwu is their member, that Samuel Anyanwu is their national secretary.
Yes, because they kind of came up with
yes,
last week too.
Yeah.
But insisted that INEC had no business interfering with their internal party activities, and that Samuel Anyanwu is their party chairman. This is a position that the Amalgam rejected, stating that he described it as an unauthorized statement, and the crisis then deepened when the Amalgam announced the reinstatement of Senator Anyanwu as national secretary and postponed the next meeting, decisions that were swiftly rejected by 11 NWC members and the board of trustees. So it's really a case of, I wanted to say two fighting, but plenty fighting.
But the good thing is they eventually settled.
Did they?
They eventually settled yesterday. Okay. All the PDP parties and factions came together. They finally agreed. They agreed with the fact that if INEC has identified who the secretary is, they said fine, they would go with him, you know. And the good news is they settled. However, other governors like Peter Mba,
you know, we thought they had settled last week. Then
oh yeah, but this they settled eventually.
Okay.
That's why I said really.
Settle. Yeah, they did.
For now.
I think in the coming days,
let's say they have settled for now.
In the coming days,
I understand where you're going.
Time will tell.
That is it. But the acting chairman of the PDP actually said and made it clear that enough is enough, that it's time for them to stop the infighting, it's time to stop demarketing the party. It's high time for them to ensure that they have a big task at hand, which is they have to focus on the 2027 elections, and they also have to ensure that, you know, without the BOT meeting, the next meeting wouldn't equally hold. And so to follow the process, and for some of the PDP members, their happiness and their joy simply is that there will be internal issues. They would fight like family members would fight. Yeah, but eventually they would settle, and that's exactly what they were able to achieve yesterday. However, I also hear that they did give the secretary some conditions. The conditions were, as would mention, that he needs to withdraw any allegation or any court cases he has, you know, put before the PDP. How he's going to do that, well, let's wait and see.
It's not a big deal, I think.
Olive, we know
if you have reinstated me, that's exactly why I went to Olive. Issues I had.
Olive, let's not forget what happened in Rivers State.
Well, fair point.
You know, they told two people, okay, one day, let's one with you, the other one. Now the other one is saying, if you love me, just follow me and let's solve
my
peace.
sheep hear my voice.
That's what you call one name Peter, one name Paul.
Okay, this is how we start wake-up conversations. Thank you for joining us.